That is so beautiful. No way. I'm just driving home. What's up, guys? It's a beautiful morning up here in Central Florida. I'm up here for a few days with my family. We're on our annual camping trip that we go on with a bunch of people from our church, and it's a great opportunity to get out and do some herping in some areas that I don't normally get to explore a lot. So this morning I'm going to be hitting a pretty big flip spot with lots of cover to flip and see if I can turn up anything under that. And then a little bit later, I'm going to get out into habitat and hike around and see if I can find some snakes that way as well. All right, guys, that didn't take long. I just flipped my first snake of the day. Nice southern black racer right under this board. He's pretty chilly, so he didn't have a chance to get away too fast, but these ones are a lot more black than the southern black racers I see in South Florida. Still have the characteristic white chin. Yeah. Focus on the camera, don't bite my hand. Alright, so I'm just going to let this guy go back under his board and keep on going. Alright, here's a few big boards to flip. Nothing home. Nobody on there. Get this one over here before I put it back. Oh, it's hard to see. Don't see anything under there. Here. Nobody home. There it is, guys. Flipped, it's still in situ. A huge Coachwhip. Let me see if I can grab him real quick. Oh man, that's a big Coachwhip. That's the biggest one I've ever seen. Oh my goodness. That's a big snake. Look at that thing. Oh, what a great way to start the day. That's huge. Hey buddy. Look at the size of that thing. That is awesome. Alright guys, so this is that huge Coachwhip that I flipped a little bit earlier, and I hung on to him. I'm going to take some photos and video quick and then release him right back where I found him. He's just going into shed, it looks like, but he's warmed up a little bit now, and man, what a gorgeous snake. Being a little bit defensive, but not too bad. Really awesome snake. They can get even bigger than this. I've heard people find them that are bigger than 7 feet long. Really cool species. They're opportunistic predators. They'll eat just about anything they can catch, including other snakes, which is really cool. And one of the fastest snake species, maybe the fastest snake species in North America. Really, really fast snakes when you find them out and they're warmed up and they're on the crawl. it's pretty hard to get your hands on one, but flipping this guy on a cold morning was definitely the way to do it. So we're gonna get some pictures, some video, and then we'll let him go. The reason they're called a Coachwhip is because their tail looks like a braided whip. And you can see how accurate that name is when you look at it. Absolutely beautiful color and pattern on these guys. So happy to finally see a huge one like this. So cool. Being a real good boy right now. All right, so my friend John and I are just hiking through the scrub, hiking around looking for eastern indigo snakes, scarlet kingsnakes, coachwhips, whatever we can find. So we're gonna keep on hiking and definitely let you guys know if we find something. All right, so just walked up on this really big, fairly fresh Gopher Tortoise burrow, and it's got a really big apron, fresh sand around it, some tracks and stuff. Pretty awesome. Be cool to see a Gopher Tortoise here, and hopefully an indigo snake.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Did we start over? Did we start over?
all right guys, so I'm out here another day up in the sandhills and got here pretty early, decided to flip some stuff before it warmed up, and flipped a bunch of boards and other trash and stuff, and this guy decided to show up. It's a little Scarlet Kingsnake. Yeah, that's a great way to start the day. Excellent. Get him out of here. There he is. Little Sandy. Look at this guy. Get him in the shade. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Just a little guy. I've seen him a fair bit bigger than this, even though they are a small species. So for those of you wondering, no, this is not a venomous coral snake. If you go by the rhyme, that really only applies here in eastern North America, but if you do go by the rhyme, red touch yellow, kill a fellow, that's a coral snake, venomous, and red touch black, as in this guy, friend of Jack. This is not venomous, this is a Scarlet Kingsnake. Very, very cool. Beautiful snakes. Looks like he may be going into shed soon. Beautiful, beautiful snake. Love these guys. That's a great way to start the day. So just after I stopped the video, this thing actually started shedding its skin in my hands, and it's pretty much got all the skin off now. Look at this thing now. Absolutely gorgeous. That is so beautiful. This is my first Scarlet King in a while, and it feels good. Get out into the sandhills and flip one. And then to see one so clean, because it literally just shed in my hands. That is awesome. Beautiful, beautiful snake. All right, guys, so I finished up hiking and flipping, and it was getting a bit warm, so I'm going to spend the rest of the day probably cruising some of these sandhill roads and see if anything's crossing. It seems to be pretty good conditions for it. There's some clouds rolling in, which should help things out, and it's going to be high, probably low 80s for the high today. So hopefully there will be a few things moving, and I'll have some more stuff to show you guys. All right, so cruising was kind of slow. Haven't seen anything yet, so I decided to just come out and hike for a bit in some of this nice habitat. Just see if anything's basking or hanging out by a tortoise burrow or anything like that. Sure is a beautiful day to be outside. And I found a cool snake already with that Scarlet Kingsnake, so the rest of the day is just a bonus. No way. I'm just driving home and this gigantic mud snake is sitting in the road. Look at this thing. Oh my goodness. This thing is big. Look at this. I'm going to get it off the road and then get some more video for you guys. Well guys, this is what utter shock and surprise looks like on the way home. Eastern mud snake. Before sunset. Totally not expecting it. Just heading home, and man, I will take it though. Absolutely pleasant surprise. I think this is my first mud snake that I've seen all year. I've had years before where I've found several of them, but this year, just for whatever reason, I've been hitting all the same spots and good conditions and just hasn't been showing up. But one just shows up randomly on my way home. Cannot complain. Just love these things. I'm going to hang on to this guy for some pictures and video, and then make sure he gets let go out into the wild where he belongs. Such a cool snake. Alright guys, here's another look at this eastern mud snake before I release him back into the wild. If you've never heard of a mud snake before, these are a highly aquatic snake species. They're really difficult to find in the wild because they spend so much time in the water, and a lot of the ways that people find them is if they happen to be crossing a road that goes through their habitat, and that's exactly how I found it. He was crossing the road, and there was a little lake on one side and a cypress swamp on the other. And these guys, as you can see, are quite large snakes. They can get quite a bit bigger than this too. As adults, they eat primarily aquatic salamanders like amphiumas and sirens and things like that. Really, really cool snakes. They almost never bite when you pick them up. I've never had one try to bite. They're non-venomous, but they do have very, very strong jaws that they use to grab those slippery salamanders that they eat. Incredibly cool snakes. Absolutely love finding these guys. Always a pleasure to come across. Just look at this thing. The eyes on these guys are so cool. Eastern mud snake. Yeah, one thing that I just noticed on these guys is that they have, or at least this one does, this is an adult male, and he has, you might be able to see it on the dorsal scales towards the tail. There's some really light keels. I'd never noticed that before. I don't know if that's there's a bit of sexual dimorphism like there is with indigos, or if that's on both the sexes. But if you guys know, leave a comment down below. I'd love to learn more about that. Incredible snakes.